nothing but nuggets. Yeah. See, I'm telling you, man. Came from nothing to something. Now we giving you game. Dropping nothing but nuggets.
What's up with it? It's your boy
Hey, what's up,
Antoine
my man?
Campbell. Welcome to the Nothing But Nugget podcast. Today I got a very special guest, my man Derrick, flipping houses all the way from the wonderful state of Texas. Introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are.
Hey, what's up, my man? It's Derrick here, aka Flipping a House. I'm coming live from Houston, Texas. I'm a real estate investor. We do flips, wholesales, and just started acquiring rentals. And yeah, I'm here to kick it with my man Antoine. Hopefully, talk some real estate, drop some gems, and make some money together.
Appreciate it. Yeah, welcome to the podcast, man. I'm so looking forward to this episode, man. How did you get started in real estate investing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was waiting tables and going to college, hating every minute of it. And one of my friends went to one of these seminars, and they were doing the free event, and then they hit you with the other event. It's basically a big sales funnel. But I went to this event, and I found out about this thing called wholesaling, and it just made sense, man. Like, I had done network marketing and a few other things, but like the wholesaling thing, it just all clicked. And yeah, so I came home and started studying. Studied for about 8 months. Finally took some action, and then I got a lead. It didn't really work out, but it just showed me that it was possible. And then about 6 months of consistent work after that, I finally got my first deal, and it's pretty much been uphill from there, up and downhill. I would say it was those first couple years was a little rough, but we started to figure things out after I met my business partner, and yeah, it's been about 4 years since that first event.
So, your business partner, you met them at an event, or you know from your childhood?
With my business partner, yeah, we met actually just kind of like I met you and everybody else to this thing, social media, man. And we went out and we had lunch, and he was doing some bandit signs. I was trying to get some info because I'd never done them, and I was curious. This is back when direct mail and everything was popping. And I still haven't done any bandit signs. I mean, we've used them to sell some properties, but not to get leads. And
Right.
yeah, I just, tried to be of service. Hey, if I can help you, let me know. And about 2 weeks later, he sent me a deal. And then we kept doing deals, and then finally it got to the point, I think we had like 70 grand in the pipeline. And I was like, man, if we're doing this with you having a job, imagine what we could do if you didn't have a job. And about 2 months later, he finally, I convinced him to quit. And, we've been building ever since.
Man, that's awesome. So, what were some things that you did starting out? I know you said direct mail, was okay, but you ain't stick to it. So, what were some things that got you to that 70, 80 grand in the pipeline?
Got you. So that was around when cold calling first came out. So let's back it up. When I first got started, I was doing a lot of direct mail. That was my niche for probably like a year, probably a year and a half, 2 years. And when I first started out, I would just do like really like niche lists, just stack lists, I guess you would call them now, but just probates with evictions, with everything. And also, I didn't have a lot of money, so it was just cheaper to buy those lists. So I was just hitting highly targeted leads with direct mail. I was doing a lot of driving for dollars and calling those leads. And then I was also like calling expired listings. And I started doing like a lot of JV deals as well, just hustling, just selling other people's deals, things like that. Just a big combination. But I would say direct mail was the main form. And then my partner, when we first met, he had signed up for TTP, and I was already looking into it. And he was like, "Look, I already got it. How about we do this together?" So that's what we did, and that's pretty much where we really started, getting those bigger assignments and off market leads. Now it's not as good as it was then, right? Because not that many people were cold calling. I mean, people have been cold calling for a while, but it wasn't nearly as big as it is now. And
Right.
I would say, cold calling is really when we started hiring VAs and, doing a lot of cold calling. That's when things really started to take off.
Man, that's crazy because like I noticed like when things become a trend, you make a whole lot of money on the front end, but the back end,
Hmm.
you don't make no money because everybody catch a whiff of it. Like when I started, like I stumbled into stacked leads by accident because I was trying to figure out the perfect seller, and then I realized there was multiple points of motivation in order to get the perfect seller. What are some things that you're currently doing right now to really stand out from the herd when it comes to getting motivated sellers?
I would say we're consistent. I know it's so cliche, but consistency is a big thing. Whether that's consistently marketing to sellers or following up with leads, we're very consistent. We're doing a lot of texting, a lot of RVMs and cold calling. Obviously, with Corona, things slowed down on the wholesale side a little bit. Luckily, we had some flips going. But we were doing 5+ deals a month, and now we've done I think 3 or 4 since Corona started on the wholesale side. So I mean that kind of slowed down, but we've noticed over the last week or two it's starting to pick up. My partner's actually at an appointment as we speak. So I mean things are starting to pick back up. But I would say for us it's a lot of cold calling. That's our biggest form. And then mixed in with some texting, RBM, and then we've started putting money into SEO as well for the last couple months. But I'm sure, as you know, that's a slow grind, especially like being in a competitive market like Houston, where people spend a lot more money than we do on SEO. We're just being very strategic about how we grow, our company page and things like that. So those are just a few things that we're doing. Probably not too different than what you guys are doing or anybody else, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I think for us, we do SEO because we want to create a brand awareness. So I'm assuming that's why you probably doing it. We're not really caring about the return, like as far as like making money, which is a plus. That's a cherry on top. But if an old lady say, "Hey, how I know you're not a scam? Hey, ma'am, go check us out," I feel confident that we'll show up in the search results.
Yeah, and for us, I would be lying if I said it wasn't both. I think brand awareness for sure. But what we did notice is we were getting leads off of a crappy site, and so we were like, what if we actually paid somebody to do this? And I have a buddy who does a lot of SEO for some big names, and I trust him. I've known him even before he got into real estate, so we had the money, and I was like, let's just go ahead and invest in this. And we're just now starting to get leads. We started this back in February, and we're just now starting to get like good quality leads. One thing I will say about SEO though is the leads that you get, you don't have to get as many, but they're pretty much ready to go.
Right, right. I agree.
The last one we did, I mean, the house was damn near perfect. So I mean, we were about 50,000 off in price, and we told them you should list it. It was on a golf course, but usually when we go on SEO leads, it's pretty much I'm gonna leave with a contract just because they're ready to sell. They came to find you, so I would be lying if I said it wasn't both to make money and brand awareness. Because we do spend a decent amount each month, but it's a long-term play, right? And it takes at least 6 months to really start even ranking, and then you can add some PPC on it, but that's super expensive too. So it's a slow grind, but it's a little bit of both.
So let's talk about how in the world did you go from wholesaling and getting into flipping? What does that business model look like right now? Like, what are you currently doing, and how you're financing the deals as well?
Got you. So we kind of transitioned. What happened was we got this amazing deal, and I wanted to start getting rentals just because I'm like wholesaling is cool, but cash flow is king. And I bought this rental. I signed my partner signed it to me, so he got paid, and it was just an amazing deal. It was worth like 180, and we got it for 50,000. I ended up putting 30 into it, and we did the remodel and everything. And I was like, this actually wasn't that bad. Maybe we should look at flipping. And then around the time, I know we were talking about how I got, up with Batch and Batch Leads, I'd met, Jesse and Evo and all them, and they were talking to us about flipping. And they were like, you guys are getting these good deals, why don't you start flipping some? And a lot of times we think about these things, but until we hear it from somebody else, it doesn't really click. And I was like, that actually does make sense. So we started flipping. We came home from that event. I think that was 18 or 19, and started just flipping right away. I think it was 19, and we've done about 10, or no, we've done 9. 2 of those were rentals that we kept. But that business model, I mean, it's a lot different than wholesaling. But we're starting to finally figure it out or get better at our processes. I don't think you ever figure it out.
Right.
But so for us, what we look at ideal, right? How we were before Corona is we're doing about 5 to 10 wholesale deals a month. We were averaging about 5 or 6 in January and February, and then doing, 2 or 3 flips at a time or 2 or 3 per quarter. Obviously, with Corona, that slowed down. We're selling off, 2 of our flips right now, retail. And we're actively looking for more. I've been looking at a lot of deals as things are starting to pick back up. We just, we're very picky because with doing wholesaling, a lot of times I can make, maybe not as much, but it just be in and out very quickly. So, we're very specific on flipping because we've also done some flips and, we did a flip recently and made 7 grand on it because everything in the world went wrong. It's just a different animal than wholesaling. So for us, it's wholesaling, flipping, and then acquiring rentals as well. We just kind of see where we're at in projects and what we want to do with the deal and, what makes the most sense at the time.
If flipping, I always say, flipping one of the things, it could look good on paper, and then you got to take what you get underwrote on paper and translate it into real world. And I literally just wrote a $1,700 check to close one of our flips. I had to come to the table with $1,700, and you win some, you lose some, and that's just what it is. I never sit here and act like, yeah, I'm crushing it every day, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what do you do in order to encourage yourself? That's a lot of responsibility, bro, you got on your plate to be able to month after month produce money, take care of the people around you, and making sure you lead your squad in the right direction. What do you do to encourage yourself?
I think it's good to be surrounded by, hustlers like yourself, even though we're not physically surrounded. We kept running into each other, and I see your hustle, you see mine. I think that's good. I cut out all negativity. I'm so big on that, like protecting my energy. Like, yeah, I always joke, like you start talking negative, like I get the measles, like I gotta go, man. Like I don't want to be around it.
Right.
And so, I think by that, my business partner, a lot, that helps because we go through these things together. And then I think just having people that have been in the game, a lot longer than me and hearing their stories and their journey always reminds me that I'm, headed on the right path. But, also I think self-care, like last week was rough, man. I was trying to start a new business, buy an 18-wheeler, and we were a week away from finalizing everything, and they backed out of the deal. And that on top of, I have a baby coming, I'm in the middle of a refinance, we have like 2 or 3 flips going and wholesaling. It was a lot, man. So last week was rough. So over the weekend I spent some time with the family, but Friday I just kind of took the day off, hung out with my wife, and did pedicures and was lazy and just kind of reset my mind because this business is so hard, and if we keep going you're just going to get burnt out. So I think it's important to also, on those rough weeks, is to step back and just really appreciate what we've built, because even though if it doesn't go our way, we're on a bigger it's a marathon, right? So it's like at the end of the day, the little houses and bullshit that we lose money on is going to be okay when you look at the bigger scope of things.
I agree. And, and 2 weeks ago I snuck away and nobody even knew I was at the beach. Man, my wife snuck away, and sometimes that quality time to just kind of like hit the reset button is all you need to keep pushing forward. Because, like you say, man, this is not a race. This is a marathon, man. And let's talk about, you know, your ability to come in this business and just continue to reinvent yourself. Because I always tell myself every year I gotta find a new me. I gotta find a better me. I gotta raise the bar for myself to push myself. Because I believe only the strong survive and the weak get bit up. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree 1,000%, and I think that's why it's so critical to have people around you that have maybe been in this journey, a lot longer. I've met some people through, my son's friends and stuff that have been in real estate, 20, 30 years. And, talking to them and where they're at and everything, it just reminds me of the bigger picture, like I was saying. And I think the main thing is to, like I was talking to the guy who did another live before this, is, you know, it's it's every year it's about growing or dying, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. And yeah, we're all dying, but in theory is like everything grows and dies. So if you're not growing, you're literally dying. So every year I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to, what new sources of income can I bring in for me and my family that I can keep more money in real estate? How can I position myself financially, whether that's living below my means or whatever it may be. How can I go to events to learn, like when I seen you last at Tony Senior's event, about protecting my wealth and trust.
That's
You
important,
know,
though.
bro, it's so important because when you start learning, like, offense is cool, but defense wins championships. So it's like it's cool to make money, but it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. And every year I feel like I peel back more of that onion and learn, new things that I had no idea about. And I want to understand those and, implement those in my business, because I don't want to be a wholesaler at, 40 years old trying to work it, because it's just a high paying job, right? Like, how can I set myself up so I don't have to work that hard as I get older? Because it's cool now while we're young,
Right,
but
right, right.
I don't want to do this shit forever. Like, I don't want to be a 40-year-old wholesaler. Like,
Man,
it's not for me.
let me tell you something. And, I always try my best to be transparent. I do not want to be 40 years old wholesaling. I will feel ashamed of myself. No disrespect to anybody out there that's older getting in the business and just starting off wholesaling. We all have different walks of lives, right? But I'm talking about the 31-year-old Antoine. That's 9 years from now. So in 9 years from now, if I'm still wholesaling, I mean, I'm at the same exact place, right? So
Exactly.
I think you have to have good people around you. Bro, I've been following you for a while, and I just love the way you move. I'm pretty sure, and maybe I'm wrong, your spouse is in your ear, just like my spouse is, keeping you accountable, making sure you're not making bad moves out here.
Oh yeah, man. I wouldn't even, like, just being transparent, I wouldn't even be in the business today. Like, when I say that I studied for 8 months, I don't recommend that to people. The only reason I did is because I was too scared to take action. And it literally got to the point where my wife one day, like, she was just not having it. Because, you when you first learn about real estate, that's all you talk about, how you're going to be rich and all this. And like one day she was just like, look, either shut the F up about real estate or take action. But regardless, like, I need something, and you're not giving, you're not doing it. And there's been even other times that she's pushed me, and it takes a lot to listen, to your wife and take advice, because they honestly know what's best. But sometimes we can be very egotistical and we don't want to take that advice. But
Right,
at the end of
right.
at the end of the day, they want what's best for, both of us. And I'm so happy she did push me, because I don't know if I would be flipping a house or even in real estate if it wasn't, for her nagging and love and pushing that, what I mean, she's given me over the years.
Man, that's awesome, man. And maybe I'm wrong. What are you completely debt free? I think you posted something like a couple of months ago saying you completely debt free. Or maybe that's somebody else I was looking at.
Yeah, no, we've been on this journey, man. That's honestly, I'm more passionate about money and finances than I am real estate. Like, I want
Mhm.
to, when I think of what I want to do long term, it would be, being a Dave Ramsey. But just, I don't agree with everything Dave Ramsey says. Like, I believe in using credit, but to buy assets. But for us, man, we went on this journey 3 years ago, and when I first got into real estate, because I was making money and going broke, and I was like, if we're gonna do this, we have to commit. And by committing, we got rid of our expensive car notes, not by choice. Our cars flooded, but sometimes things are a blessing and we don't realize them.
Right.
And so we bought cash cars. We moved in with her mom for a year to save money. So yeah, now I mean, we spend, some money on credit cards, but we pay it off every month. And the only debt that I really truly do have is that I just bought a house for us. But then again, it is debt, but I have equity in place, and it wasn't a bad purchase. So for the most part, I will say I'm not 100%, because literally as soon as I said that, we closed on the house like the next week. But that was part of the plan. My whole thing just with being in debt, right? Because it's going to look different to everybody, is just, do you really, I think with society, we get caught up in, like, we need to have these things to impress other people. And I know some really rich people, and I've went on meetings with them, and they never ask me about what I drive. They don't care about what I wear. And the ones that are super successful live way below their means too, and their means are a lot higher than mine. You know what I mean? So it just confirms everything that I've thought and that I've been living. And by making certain sacrifices, it's just helped catapult in the last 3 years, by increasing my net worth, by living below my means. And, and it's hard sometimes. You see these people, and me and my wife always joke about that. Is like, we could go buy a Mercedes or a G Wagon and pay that expensive ass car note, but if we're still trying to buy assets, it just doesn't align with our goal. So there will be a time where I might ball out, but honestly, I'm so low key, you won't even know. To be honest, like I'm cool with driving my cash car and saving money because it's a marathon, right? And I know that I'm never going to look back at my 20s and be like, I'm so happy I bought that Mercedes. It's going to be like, I'm so happy that I made those sacrifices. So now, I don't have to. Because there's a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck and you think they're balling, but they're really not. Like, they're really not.
Yeah, I always say, like, like financial literacy has always been something that it's not a white or black or Spanish thing. This entire country struggle with. Like I think I was reading something the other day that said like 50% of all Americans don't even have $5,000 in their savings account. Crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. So like,
I
you
believe
know,
it.
the reason why I got into business is because I wanted to break my generational curse by just living a cookie cutter life, go to school, get a good job, and make just enough to pay for my funeral when I die. I don't want that for myself. I live my life based on prosperity. I'm not sure how religious you are, but I'm not that guy that's out here fronting Jesus for lights. But I'm religious enough to know that I want my heaven here on earth. I want to enjoy the things now, and the only way to enjoy the things now is to give yourself an alley hoop by doing the work now. I always, I don't know if you hear me say it, but I always say sacrifice now, ball forever. And LaShawn, she bought me this chain for probably. I always wear like little jewelry and stuff, but I ain't really wore jewelry in a few years. But this is my first chain in about 2 years, and literally, it's not diamonds or anything. It's made out of nails, right? It's made out of nails, and what it means, and it's very thoughtful, and I really appreciate it. So I want to publicly thank her right now. And what it means is, Jesus Christ sacrificed himself. He made the ultimate sacrifice. So these nails represent sacrifice. I believe in sacrifice in order to get to the next level. So every day I wear this, it just reminds me to push myself to get to the next level. So what are some things that you're trying to do within the next 10 years? What you see yourself? I asked everybody to come on the show. We in 2020, which is the start of a new decade. What do you see yourself in the next 10 years to start the next decade?
Okay, we're back. My bad.
Yeah.
So where I see myself is a serial entrepreneur, man, like multiple businesses. Um, I see myself like already, being financially free, not just debt free, but financially free. As in, I don't ever have to really worry about anything. I have assets that pay for everything. I have multiple streams of income, and I just live an abundant life. I think, I'm a big family guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not overly religious, but I have my beliefs, and I'm totally agree with you on the prosperity. And I think we're meant to be here to win, right? And to be able to do that, you have to make sacrifice. And we've been taught in a society that to have that instant gratification. And me, I'm just suspicious of everybody. So if everybody's doing it, I'm gonna automatically do the opposite, just because that's my personality. And I think that we've just been taught too easily to go in debt for cars and things that we don't truly mean anything, when we could set ourselves up, like you said, to ball forever and have that abundance lifestyle. And that's why you got to have the right circle around you to push you too, whether it's your wife or friends and family, and you got to constantly be growing, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about that circle thing. I like the circle because, like, right now, my existing circle is not made up of any yes people. So anytime I'm out of line or anytime I'm not moving in accordance to what we all agreed I should be moving, I get called out. And I like it because that's how you elevate. If you always thinking to yourself that, hey, what I'm doing is right, I'm crushing it, no one can tell me shit because I know everything, you're doing yourself a disservice because there's no one there to critique you. You can always be a better person. You can always do things better. You can always try your best to push yourself even harder. But if your immediate people around you agree with everything you do, you're doomed from the start. What you think about that?
No, I agree. Like I said, I'm so big on protecting my energy, man, and having that circle. And I don't really have a lot of, friends, I would say, in a sense that I don't think a lot of people do either. They have fake relationships.
Right.
I view my true friends as though, because I think we get skewed on this thing of like love and what a relationship should look like. And, as a parent, I understand this even more, is, tough love, man. Tough love is some of the best love.
Tough
And
love
I
is the
think so
best
many,
love.
right? And so many people are scared to be honest, either with themselves or with the people around them, because they're worried they might lose that relationship. And if I love you as a person, I'm willing to lose that relationship because I care for you that much, because I want to see you succeed. And, a lot of people are scared to have people like that around them. And that's why I don't also have that many friends, because I'm brutally honest, which is good and bad, right? Because most people, they don't, it's easier to just negate the problem than rather address it head on. And I'd rather just figure it out and, become a better person from that. Because, like honesty is, it's all we really got, man. So it's like, why would you want these naysayers or, people around you that are just going to be yes, man? And it goes for not just friends too, family, because, so a lot of times our family, they want what's best for us, but that means security, and what they know as security might not look the same as it does to us. Because like you said, my security is, I know that I'm going to set myself up and have that security. For other people that may be working a job to pay for their funeral, and to me that's scarier than what I'm doing. So it just, how you think, to each his own. But for me, I just never wanted to be average or live an average life. And when I meet the people that I have surrounded around me that have been doing this for a while, I want to live the life that they live.
Exactly.
And I know how they did it. So
I mean, even looking at it from a point where, like, I always say though, your goals should be so big that everybody around you gonna laugh at you. They're gonna be mumbling their breath. What an idiot! He can never get to what he's dreaming. Like, that's why, to me, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't actually have. I don't know. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not really that social guy because I'm always got my head pushed down trying to get to the next level. So I don't really have time to be social. Like, how has the journey been as far as like dealing with family and friends? Like, because when you get to this level, or when you get to a level where people think you made it, or they think that you financially secure, it kind of make relationships awkward. And now you got to filter who calls you and who you let in your space and who you let occupy your energy.
yeah, no, and I agree. And it's funny because, for me, I come from a small town, in Tennessee. So a lot of people,
Are you from
they
Tennessee?
see
I
what.
didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So it's like a lot
Okay.
of people, they assume from my small town that I've made it, right? And like I'm
Right.
this millionaire, and that's like, dog, I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else. I might have a little bit more money in my bank account, but it's probably not near as much as you think I have, because I'm just reinvesting everything, right?
Right.
And so with family and things like that, they're never gonna understand what you're doing. So like, taking it back for me, when I was 19 years old, I moved to Houston with like all my belongings. I just packed up my car with $1,000 and just made the shit happen.
Right.
And that honestly was the best thing that I could have ever done, because it put me out of my comfort zone, and I had to make true friends, right? Not just the people that my parents had put in my life. And by doing that, I also found out who I was. And when I would go back home, I used to get mad, like arguing with my mom, and all this stuff, like, because I would just be like, you don't understand money. And now I don't let it bother me as much. I just kind of let it roll like water off a duck's back. Like, I just, when they say things, I'm just like, that's not right, but whatever. Like, even when I was about to buy the 18 wheeler, my mom was like, why would you do that? And I'm like, well, it's going to make me money. And she's like, yeah, but it's going to break down, and like telling me like they only look at the negative aspect. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I could only, I can make an extra $2,000 a month and not do that much work. Yeah, but then I go to visit, right? And my mom, she owns a camper, a boat. They have 5 cars. I'm like, why do y'all have 5 cars? Like, and how they justify it, to me, it sounds retarded, but that's just everybody. When you live in a small town, that's how they all operate. So I think by like changing your environment, you start to realize like maybe some of the things that you were taught as a child, your parents did the best, but does that mean that it was right? And it just, it makes you realize, like, especially when I go home, man, like, I don't
So,
understand how or
so,
why
so
some of the
quick
people
question,
do what
bro.
they do.
How the hell you migrated from Tennessee to Texas? I don't think we talked about it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I know. So my dad, my mom and my dad were never together. They just like met and had me, whatever. And I grew up with my mom in Tennessee.
Okay, okay, I
And
got you.
yeah, my dad always lived in Houston, so I always visited as a child. And funny story, when I was 16, my dad was a tow truck driver. He finessed this job, like working for this millionaire. Like he had like all these cars, and it was my dad's job to like manage them because he would just like let his friends like just stupid money, bro. Like the most amount of money that I've ever seen anybody ever have. And when I visited him, I got to meet him. And it was the first time I ever heard, like, you don't have to go to college to be successful. And like literally that trip, I was like, I'm moving to Houston. Like, I need to be around people that think like this. And even though it kind of like messed me up because I'd always been taught like college is the only way, people with money are bad. And like you meet this guy and he's, 100 millionaire or whatever, like almost a billionaire, and he's the nicest and most normal guy ever. He just lives in a penthouse and has all this money. But when you hear
Right,
these things, it's like he can't be telling a lie because I'm in his penthouse. Like I see what he has. Like he has a Maserati and Lambo. Like so it just kind of when you see these things, it made me change the way I thought. And so at 16, I decided I'm going to move here. And then obviously I had to finish high school, and then I saved for a year after after I graduated, and then I just made the leap. And yeah, I've been in Houston for like 8 years now, but that's a whole nother, I could talk about that and my journey and how life works, but that's just, kind of how I got to Houston.
but it goes back to earlier what I was saying. Your ability to reinvent yourself. I think that that's
Hmm.
something that's not taught enough. That hey, just because you're here in your life, it doesn't mean you can't pivot and go this way and reinvent yourself. I mean, and you might have some people. It might be your mother and father that you might got cut off for a year or two, and two you can come back and say, listen, this is what I was working on. Now they have to respect it because they actually see it in the flesh.
That's
You know,
it.
um,
Hmm.
and that's why lately, for me, like I just been all action. Like I don't really
Hmm.
speak that much on things. I don't really talk about my future blessings because some people could come take that away from you. They can take that away from you by speaking negativity on it. They can take that away from you by talking to other people to put you down as a person. They can try to assassinate your character. But so instead of letting all that get in my way, I put my head down and just do the work and voila, motherfuckers, take this. And that's how people should live their life. I mean, people struggle, and I might get a little flack for saying this. People struggle because they chose to struggle. We live in a country where uh, you can start an LLC without a passport. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We live in a country.
literally.
There's nowhere in the world where you can walk into the LLC building, give them a little couple $100, don't show your ID, and you in business. Think about that, bro. Think about that for 1 second. You get what I'm saying? So it's just disappointing that we sit here and we sit on our bullshit ass excuses. And and I'm wrapping around to get to like the new people in real estate. And we feel sorry for ourselves, and we try to create some type of entitlement. And that's why I think right now what we're seeing inside of this particular industry, which is real estate, is toxicity. Like I never seen so much negativity, so much
Bro.
toxicity, so much division, so much fuckery, so much lying, so much hatred, so much manipulation, so much ass kissing. I never seen it. It's just crazy. So now I'm like, man, I'm just going. It's me versus me. And that might sound a
Hmm.
little more egotistic, tripping, but I think that at the end of the day, if something happens to the Antoine Campbell ship, it was Antoine Campbell's fault. It's not Antoine
Yeah.
Campbell and them. So I just think that uh, you know, we're just in a negative place. What you feel about that?
Bro, there's a reason I stay to myself. Growing up an only child, it is not hard for me to be an introvert. So I agree, man. And I think, for even like just being transparent with you and your audience is that, for a while, even myself, I got caught up in, you see the Carlos Reyes, the Max Maxwell's, just all these big names, Sean Terry, and you see these people and you're like, that's where I should be. And I think a lot of times we look at somebody else's journey and we don't see, once I met Max and I heard all his fellow businesses and just like had a real conversation, I'm like, okay, now I see it, right? But people see things
Right.
on social media, like I was saying, even with me and like the people in my small hometown, and they assume like they think I'm Grant Cardone, and it's like, nah, I'm still out here building. But I try to say to myself, and for me, when I get around these bigger people, I just I listen more than I talk, and I think that's a big thing. But also I watch actions, right? Because you can show me and you can make everything, but it's like, are you going to be around? How do you handle other people? What are other people saying about you? Because it's a weird thing with social media, man, and it's created so many egos. And like, that's one thing I pride myself on is like, I'm not a guru. I'm not none of that shit. I'm a regular guy, and I just share my content. And if you fuck with it, cool. If you don't, it's cool too. I don't really care.
That's
But those that
that's the
get
same
it,
way with me, bro.
get it.
Like because
Like if you
you're
get it,
not gonna
you
be
get
for
it.
everybody, right? And I had to like I had to have that conversation with myself in December of 2019, and did the event and everything, and and then I was driving back home, and I'm saying like, why am I trying so hard to cater to everybody? Just stick to the mission by helping people. Stick to the mission by first and foremost helping myself. I can't I can't I can't help other people if I'm not helping myself. So stick to the mission by helping myself, then help people, and whoever follow you along the journey, uh, just live with the results. And then I told myself, and I said, listen, God, anything that ain't for me, take it away right now. I don't give a fuck. If it ain't for me, whether it's money, whether it's people, relationships, whether it's business ventures, whether it's partnerships, take that shit away because all that is a deferred problem later on down the road. And literally, like within a month, like everybody that wasn't really who they said it was, or everybody that was portraying who was something different, they just stopped rocking with me. And I was cool with that because you know why? It put me at a better peace. You see what I'm saying? People don't understand. We live in a country where this mental health shit is real, bro. It's real.
Oh yeah.
I just got me a therapy. I got a therapist 2 months ago, and I'm living my best life, man. Like mentally, like you can have all the money you want, you can have all the cars you want, you can be doing all the deals you want. If you not right up here and you mentally unstable and you mentally frustrated and you making hundreds of $1,000s a month and you still not satisfied or happy, you need to go get this checked out. I'm telling you, bro, it's the best move I made in my life. What you think about the whole mental health thing?
Bruh, so big, so big. Like me and my girl, we're big on this because I think you said it earlier, right? My whole theme for 2020 is breaking generational curses.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk about that, it's not just the money, actually. Money is probably it's a big part. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. But the biggest part is other things, right? So when I think of like my childhood, it's creating those memories with my son. Growing up in a two-parent household, like that alone, like already puts my son ahead. Talking about issues, right? And digging into our childhood because most of the issues and things and reasons that we handle situations the way we do has to come in with the programming that we got from our parents. Now, whether they did it intentionally or not,
Man,
the
bro,
shit still
you sound like
affects
my
us.
wife. My wife was just saying the same shit a month ago. She was like, and that was one of the reasons why I got into therapy because I was making moves and doing things that I didn't even realize that I was doing. I was programmed by my childhood, and it wasn't my mother or my father's fault. It was just that me naturally seeing what I went through. Though I went through so much stuff, and the one thing I always said, I would never leave what I went through in my childhood as a way to get sympathy, as a way to tell a story, as a way to write a script, or as a way to grow my content. I would never do that. I would never exploit my childhood for that gain, right?
Hmm.
So there's a lot. If I wrote a book right now, bro, like, man, I'd probably be New York Times bestseller. But that's a whole
Right?
nother conversation. So
Hey, no,
I,
I,
I
I agree though, and it's important, man. Like the mental health aspect, because too, on top of that, right? Let's take away that and everything. Let's look at what we do as a business. Real
right,
estate is one of the most inconsistent things as a business you can
man,
do
tell me about it.
because though there's so many people involved that can fuck up a deal. You could do everything you wanted to in your power, right? And some random person come fuck up a deal. And so living with that, man, like I remember, I think it was like a year or two ago, I had 5 deals fall apart in a week. 5 deals, like over 100 grand, just shoot like that. And
Yeah,
it's like when you have things like that happen, then you got to put into account all the things you went through in your childhood, all the things you're dealing with monetarily, right? So it's just the mental, bro. I'm so big on that, and like I don't have a therapist, but that's something me and my wife, like I want to have one myself, and then I want to go to
bro.
one together
I'm
because I
self-employed, so
think
I'm
it's
real
something we
conscious of
all
spending
need.
money. Go to betterhelp.com. I don't. It's not no affiliate shit. I'm telling you. Go to
Yeah,
betterhelp.com. 180 a month. You can talk to a therapist once a week. Every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. I don't give a shit what's on my schedule. I'm talking to my therapist. I got executive assistant. She'll be VA, but she's my executive assistant. She run my schedule for me. She know not to book anything between 10 and 12 o'clock on Tuesdays because I give that time to my therapist. And I'm telling you, bro, like it's some shit I've talked about and it really kind of like helped me figure out who Antoine is. And ever since then, man, my mind, like I've been a better husband, I've been a better parent, man. I just been a better like person. And you know, you don't have to run to the church first. Go talk to somebody first, because sometimes running to the church make things worse because it's not a professional person you can actually talk to about the things you went into your childhood. And I'm telling you, man, anybody on the show listening, if you're going through something mentally right now, whether you're financially stressed out, you're mentally stressed out, your marriage is broken, go get some help. You know what I mean? And I just want to be
yeah.
the
No,
person using my platform to say that. Go get some help.
I'm gonna definitely check that out, bro. I did not know about that, and I would definitely because
Yeah, man.
that
Because
just
even
having
like
an
me, since I'm
unbiased
self-employed,
opinion.
yeah, even for me, like since I'm self-employed, like I don't have health insurance policy, so I go to like Minute Clinic and you pay out of pocket. But like, you
Hmm.
know, like that's gonna become a new business model. So like, I'm just trying to share to all my friends that I know that's self-employed. There's a better way to do things than have to be going through the system or putting things off because you feel like you might can't afford it. Man, there's so many different softwares and apps that's coming out that's going to change the way we live our life. Um, but that better help, man. 180 a month, the best thing I spend every month. 180 a month.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna check that out. But I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but I mean, it's just that self development. That's honestly the most important part because how you do anything is how you do everything. And so, if you're not right mentally, you're not gonna be a good dad. You're not gonna be a good husband, spouse, a good son. A good business person. So, it's so big, man. And I spend a lot of time on self development and questioning everything that I've ever thought, really, like little things to big things, just because that programming happens whether you want it to or not. And I think about things like that with my son, even down to little things like discipline, right? Like I used to always think you needed to whip your kids, right? And I'm like, did it work? Yes. Is it the right way? There's probably other ways that, you know what I mean, you can be a parent and it not be as scarring. So it's like, it's just made me question everything I thought, but to be a better person, right? Because breaking generational curses isn't just money and everything, it's how to be a better person. And, I couldn't agree anymore with you.
And honestly, like, think about this. The average new person that's jumping into the real estate industry, the number one reason why they jump into the real estate industry is because they want more, they want better, or they're trying to break the curse. So, that being said, you know, they've been through some things in their life. It all going to circle back around to like mental health. You know what I'm saying? You at work, think about this, bro. You used to bust tables, right?
Yeah, wait tables, but yeah, same shit.
So busting tables is, because I used to work in a hotel, so I'm very familiar with busting tables. Yeah. Wait tables, bust tables, my bad, bro. No disrespect. But that job can be very like belittling if you come across the wrong couple sitting down eating, especially an egotistic guy that try to talk to you type of way to please the person he's taking out to lunch or dinner. Man, you probably got so many stories from waiting tables. It might not be good. There's
Yeah.
probably sitting in your head that now since you're doing real estate, you're like, man, I can stun on these guys. But you rose above that. So when you and now let's go back to my whole point. So when you get a bunch of guys who now making $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, and they always been the guy that was in last place in life. They've always been a guy that's been spit in the face, not literally spit in the face, but spit in the face. might not been cool, might not have the best girls, dealing with flat butt girls, stuff like that. They get to the real estate thing, now they want to show off because this their
Hmm.
first time they ever had to taste the money. They never had no success. They never had this much attention. People inboxing you, people liking the statuses. It becomes that poison. That's that one thing that you start working so hard for to get now becomes your enemy. So how in the world could someone coming into wholesaling or real estate investing never made fucking $10,000 a month, now making $100,000 a month, and check their ego or put their ego in place? What's some things they can do, bro?
I think having strong people around you, that's always going to be important. I think reading books and listening to podcasts and start really studying money because and really meet some successful people too. I think that's my biggest thing because like I said, one of the richest guys I know, I just literally had a conversation. My son's at his house right now, and we were talking real estate, and they own like 30 rentals free and clear. He's about to buy a fourplex, a sixplex, and he's flipping and does some commercial stuff. And the most humble guy ever. And then I see how he lives his life as an example. And what he has is something that I want, and that is the freedom of choice. And he's not egotistical, and he could stunt on people. Like he has the money and he doesn't. And I think when you get around people like that, because you think flashing checks and things like that's cool, and then you see what people really make, and you're like, okay, first off, I'm not even really making that much money, to be honest. And then on top of that, it's like this guy is so humble. Why is that? And then you go down that road, and it's like, well, maybe because even though he didn't grow up with money, he respects it, he understands it, and he uses it as a tool rather than a weapon. Because, like you said, you can always tell the dudes that were losers in high school, they get money. And a lot of the investors in my market, bro, they're old heads. And I can tell you in high school, they were ducks, bro. Like they were not cool. And now that they want you to stroke their ego, right, and kiss up to them. And it's like, first off, I'm not that guy. But on top of that, everybody, you can learn what anybody's teaching online. But what you need to understand is you can make all the money in the world and still be a shitty person. And I never want to be a shitty person, right? So I think by using those things as markers, like other people and podcasts, and surrounding yourself with actual wealthy individuals and want nothing from them, just conversation and relationship, you start to understand that these common traits keep appearing. Because I've met, sure, like plenty of rich, successful people,
I
and I've
met some
met
rich
those that are
people so far.
miserable,
They got their
right?
little houses and stuff, but they not flashy. Like they what I'm saying, they got millions in their account, but you will never see it. You'll never see them post a hug. You'll never see them post a check. And I asked one of the guys that's rich now, and I won't give up their name. Here's the reason I asked the guy this like maybe 2 weeks ago. Why don't you post checks? And he said, listen, the reason why I don't post checks is because someone's always trying to sue me. When they realize you rich and you own all these properties and apartments, and or if you run into the back of someone, they realize you got money, everything that you post online becomes evidence in the courthouse. If you're
Hmm.
not properly paying your taxes right, and you go out here, and he was speaking to a lot of new people. He was speaking towards me, not me, but the new people. He was like, if you're not
Yeah.
properly paying your taxes, but you go out here and waive a $60,000 check, you best believe that that's going to be a part of the discovery when the IRS indicts you for tax evasion. And he was explaining to me there's a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. And tax avoidance is you just know your tax laws and you're not really paying much taxes because you know how to get around it. Tax evasion is
Hmm.
you like, man, I got this $100 check and I ain't paying out shit. So that was kind of like one of the most humbling conversations I ever had with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Tony Sr. said, one of my favorite quotes that I heard him say when we were at that event was, "The bird with the brightest feathers gets shot first."
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that, man. Like being flat. Then that's why I don't front. I don't try to be anything I'm not. I'm just me, right? Like I drive a cash car. I invest in real estate. I live below my means, and I chill with my family, man. Like I don't. And even when I have money, like I said, and get exotics or whatever, like I'm still. You will never know unless you see me in it. And like I'm not gonna be posting. Like I don't. coming from a small town, I was always like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna stun on them. And then I see how miserable these people are now that I'm older, and I'm like, bro, that wouldn't even be fair to them or me.
Right.
Like I don't have nothing to prove to them, right? Because I know who I am as a person and what I bring to the table. And money just amplifies the person you really are. If you're a
Yeah,
dirtbag, you're a dirtbag. If you want to be a better person, money will help you be a better person.
I agree. Anything you want to lead the people with, I know you got things to do.
Oh no, you're good, man. I think my biggest thing, if you're new and you're trying to get started, go take action. Surround yourself with people that are in this business. Maybe try to work for someone for free or intern. I think I don't like one thing that I don't understand about the college system is A, how it's the biggest scam, but B, how people are always willing to go intern for a company for free, but they wouldn't do that for like a millionaire. And I'm like, if
That's
you
crazy.
intern for a millionaire for 2 years, you might not be a millionaire, but I bet you'll learn how to make six figures, which will then lead to bigger things. So I'm big on taking action, being consistent, and being a go giver, and live like you said, living in abundance. Man, there's enough out here for everybody. So like, don't try to skim people or go behind their back and do people dirty because you're gonna mess up a relationship that could have served you, and you're gonna. It's not. It's a marathon, man. Like, just do the right thing.
Yeah, I agree, man. But how can they reach you if they want to reach out to you? You got an IG or Facebook?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Facebook is just my name, Derrick Acuff, and then Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's flipping a house. Yeah, just check me out if you guys have questions. I'm always a person of service. I answer all my DMs. Uh, I'm gonna get back to doing lives. I was doing lives every week, and during quarantine, then I went on vacation and got lazy. But
Where you
I
went
just
to
want to provide
Mexico?
value. And no, I actually just went home to Tennessee, but I just got lazy, man, when I got back, and yeah. But yeah, I mean, flipping a house, you can reach me. I try to be of service if I can help you guys. Let me know. I'm not a guru. I'm just a regular guy out here doing real estate, and
What's
I
your
want to see
definition
other
of a
people.
word guru? I'm curious to know. What's a guru?
I don't want to
I
say
hear everybody say
names.
that. I mean, like, is it a buzzword?
Like
I mean, like, what is a
no, when I
like? What is
when
a
I
guru?
when I like right, and this is gonna be kind of talking shit and kind of not. So when I think of ideal guru, and he's a nice guy because I've met him and everything, and I'm not talking shit, but I think of somebody like Rafael Vargas or somebody like that with the crazy hair, the Lambos,
With
the
the with
big
the split with the
office and
swizzle on the side of the head with the tight pants?
yeah, all that. You know what I mean? But he's a good guy, but that's just not my style. I would just say somebody
Right.
flashy that's in real estate. But a lot of things, people always say like I'm a guru, and I'm like, bro, I don't even
See,
own like a
I,
nice suit, so I'm
see,
not a guru.
see. I
So
don't personally know Raphael. We did a co-did an event together. We didn't even actually talk at the event. I've seen him here and there, but I don't personally know him. I haven't talked to him on the phone, nothing like that. But for me, just knowing people and watching people, he's taking out he's taking out what he wanted to be at first, which is a rapper. You get what I'm saying? So that rapper
gotcha.
character is translating into real estate. Now he got the money. You know what I mean? So I'm not speaking on his
Oh
behalf, but
yeah,
that's what I see. You get what I'm saying? And he's allowed to get away with that because like that's just the way he moves. That always been his consistency since day one.
that's
Now,
yeah.
and if you
But
if you was somebody like me, right? Black t-shirt, somebody like you, plain shirt, batch hat, whatever hat you got on, simple as shit, never wear no jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Then you start acting like that, then people gonna call you out your bullshit. Like, bro, that ain't you. Why are you doing it? But
yeah,
cousin,
yeah, and that's
to
why.
my knowledge, cousin
And
been doing it since day one. So like, I ain't got no hatred towards him. Even when even when he decided to get out of wholesaling, I'm like, hey man, if I was in his predicament, I think I would have done the same thing. And here's why: if you're doing
oh
four hundred
yeah, no,
thousand
I
dollars
don't
a month,
disagree.
if you're doing $400,000 a month, $500 a month, let's just round up to $500 a month because it look pretty. If you're doing $500 a month, you're over here around $340 a month. You have if you have one bad month, right, where you lose $500,000, it's going to take you 6 months, maybe seven, to recoup
Yeah.
that one month that you lost. So from a business standpoint, it's just too risky. So that's why even when people are like, nah, bro, like you doing your thing, but why don't you just blow this shit up? I'm like, I don't want to blow it up because once you get to a certain point, the risk becomes so great that it's almost not worth it. It look good on paper, it look good in your account, but when that storm comes, not if, but when that storm comes,
When, yeah.
you're gonna pay the fucking ultimate price, and you might be filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I don't want to go down that route. So I'm going to create a wholesaling company. I'm going to extract as much money from the marketplace. And I'm going to invest in some assets like you're doing. I'm going to invest in some intellectual property. I'm going to build my brand, and I'm going to be an entrepreneur, right? And if that means getting out of wholesaling, you can laugh at me too, but I'm still going to be going to the bank with my money. Me just looking at them, it seems to me, I don't know, but the perception they put into the marketplace, you ain't skip a beat. You get what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah, no, and I agree 1,000%, and that's why I say like when I think image wise, because like you say, you can tell like that's just him, right? And which
yeah,
I
that's him.
fuck with because you're authentically yourself. I just think of the image of like nice suits and flashy cars, but I totally agree, right? Like I don't disagree. Like if he can make more money somewhere else with lower overhead, like hey, I would do it too. Because like we said, I'm not gonna be wholesaling. I don't know, maybe in 5 years, and if I do, it might not look the same. Like maybe I just do a couple
Let me before
apartments
I
a
let you
year.
go, let me let you in. You probably heard me say it before, but here's a fair warning. And one day we're going to go back to this video, and I'm going to use this video when I speak in front of 10,000 people to show you that I was right. Wholesaling in the next 5 to 10 years is not going to be what we see it is today. And here's why:
Oh
you
no.
have a thing called artificial intelligence. There's somewhere in the world or in the country, there's some fucking white kid or black kid. It's kind of murky with the race thing, so I got to be cautious. There's some white or black
I
kid
got you.
sitting in the garage, developing a crazy ass artificial sequence app that's going to automatically recognize when a person is in distress. The person will be able to log into a fucking app from Google. They're gonna get an offer right then and there. The title company going to be able to do the title search in seconds. Everything's going to be digitized, and the cash buyers is automatically going to be able to wire their money in. And then the little old wholesaler, you, the middle guy, is going to be wiped off his ass. And here's why I say that. It was a point in time where you had to get your newspaper delivered by someone to your front door in order to know what's going on in the world. Now, if I want to know what's going on in the world, all I got to do is say, hey, Google, what's up with the coronavirus? Oh, there's 347 new cases today. You don't think that same technology is going to spill over into what we're doing?
Oh yeah, no, I agree 1,001%. I say that all the
I'm
time.
getting the
Like
fuck out
every,
of
I
here.
mean, our whole world currently is changing, and that's why like the
Yeah.
Corona thing just kind of it just sped everything
Expedited
up.
things.
Like
Even like now, like at first to do a good event, you had to do a 3-day conference in somebody's ballroom and spend $40,000. Now you can fucking have 500 people in 2 weeks on your Zoom account and make 10 times more than that because you don't have no overhead. I don't think people are going to go back to uh actual live events. And if they are, it's gonna be far and few. I think this digital shit is here to stay.
oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So no, I agree with you, and I think it just goes back to what we talked about earlier. Is like growth is necessary, and I think regardless, you need to be growing and evolving. So like you said, when you see me change up, and I'm doing because I never wanted to just do real estate. Real estate is just the key to wealth, right? Is to
Right,
invest in
right,
those assets. And so, when you see me doing trucking and owning franchises, and I'll probably still do some apartments or rentals or something like that. But don't be surprised. And flipping a house, my brand will stay. But at the end of the day, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So whatever that looks like, it means making money and working for myself. Whether it's real estate, trucking, franchises, whatever it is, dog walking. I mean, I don't know, but just anything.
man. It's crazy, brother. I ain't gonna rap you. I can talk all day. I appreciate you. Man, we definitely gotta link up some more, man. You're solid, man. It's hard to find real people in this business, so you're solid. I knew you was solid today. We linked at Papa Tony event. So the next time I come to Houston, I was supposed to be coming the fall time. We definitely want to chop it up.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know for sure, man. I appreciate you having me.
Man, I appreciate
And
you, guys.
yeah, guys.
I appreciate you guys. There you go, my man Derrick from Houston, aka Tennessee. Um,
Right.
uh, would you say your Instagram was again? How they can follow you?
Flipping a house, just one word. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all that.
Your Instagram be booming. I remember one day you tagged me in a post. Man, next time I check my phone, I had like 200 followers. Like, God damn, did I pay for some followers? I said, man, where all these
Right.
followers come from? I
Yeah,
said,
that's dope,
man,
man.
Cuz
That's
got a
dope.
little following. There's 200 people following. That's crazy. But I appreciate you, brother. I'll
All
catch
right,
you on the
good deal,
next
my
one.
man.
All right, brother.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You too, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Listen, man, nothing but nuggets. Look out for tomorrow's guest. We haven't even announced him yet. We'll announce it later on today. Tomorrow's guest is going to be also. If you have a testimony and you want to come on the show, I would love to bring you on the show. I got a few people that I'm interviewing on my podcast who actually bought my VA mastery course and closing deals and making money. It's a blessing. I appreciate you guys. Stick around. Stick around real quick for the show. Posturing is dropping an app within the next 2 days before the month is over with. So I appreciate you guys. Check out the video, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
Nothing but nuggets. Yeah. See, I'm telling you, man. Came from nothing to something. Now we're giving you game. Dropping nothing but nuggets.
Opportunity. It's all around us. Opportunity to find the perfect property, to connect with motivated sellers and cash buyers, and to get the best return on your investments. It's time to seize the opportunity with the power of PropStream. PropStream is the most advanced real estate tool for investors, realtors, and brokers who want to simplify and accelerate their business through useful, up-to-date, multi-source data and targeted marketing. But you already know that. And you already know PropStream allows you to search and evaluate over 153 million properties nationwide and easily run comps to determine current and potential value. And we use the power of big data to give you access to the most comprehensive information you need to make decisions that deliver success. Our unmatched solutions allow you to generate qualified leads, find the most motivated sellers, and engage them with an array of effective marketing tools. This is beyond powerful. And now, you and your team can have the full power of PropStream right in your pocket with our new mobile app. Access PropStream on your phone or tablet. Use it to get property details, run comps, and send marketing right on the spot. And rest assured, we've also taken driving for dollars to the next level. Now is the time to focus, create opportunities, and close more deals. It's time to unleash the power of PropStream.